Part 98. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhezhi. Chapter 972. When Sister Qing received the call, she was shocked and dazed. She asked in confusion, "What are you talking about?" Jinli smiled and said, "I think what you said makes sense. I've decided to re-enter the entertainment industry." Sister Qing, push forward, what did you say earlier? Jinli continued to smile, "Oh, we are going to acquire Hua's Films, and now it is renamed Yelai Entertainment. Are you interested in becoming Yelai Entertainment's agent? The one with the highest contract." Sister Qing, acquire Hua's Films and change the name to Yelai Entertainment. She frowned, is the Lu family ready to enter the entertainment circle? In fact, the Lu Corporation owns an entertainment company, and has invested in several entertainment companies, but this is definitely the first time that this kind of acquisition is directly made with a large amount of money, and it is changed to such an obvious name for fear that others will not recognize it. Hua's Films is not a small company, but one of Hua country's established entertainment companies. Since the last century, it has made many evergreens in the film industry popular. After the new era, it has transformed and developed in an all-round way, covering various fields. The operation Jinli said made Sister Qing wonder if the Lu family wanted to dominate the entertainment industry. It sounds too childish. However, Jinli's tone was too sincere. Sister Qing was frightened. Let's think carefully about it first. Jinli nodded, okay. After hanging up with Sister Qing, Lu Zhenjie got up and went to Lu's house. He disappeared for 3 years, and the Lu family is completely different from before. However, after hearing that he had come back, Lu Jianzhen breathed a sigh of relief, and without a word, he would return the management rights of the company to him. At present, the direct descendants of the Lu family, Lu Jianzhen and Lu Qingyuan, are not interested in business at all, but Lu Zhenjie's 2 elder brothers are very interested in this aspect, but their abilities are limited. Mrs. Lu really wanted to give them a toss, maybe it was pills. It would be great if Lu Zhenjie could come back and formally take over. She mentioned it yesterday, but Lu Zhenjie didn't comment. But now if it is determined that Jinli will stay in the world for a long time, and Jinli is going to enter the entertainment circle again, Lu Zhenjie decides to take over the Lu family again, so that he can better spend resources on his own mother-in-law. Jinli was lying on the sofa alone, thinking about what was going on in heaven now. Father Tiandao must explain to Senior Shuanghan, right? I don't know what Tiandao's father is going to say. Also, the situation between the two. Senior Shuanghan didn't look like he had any affection for Tiandao's father. He always referred to him as friend and confidant before, and his expression was frank and calm. And why didn't Tiandao's father mention it before? When he became Tiandao, he had already stripped away his emotions and desires, although Jinli looked at it and felt that the stripping was not completely severed, but after all, both of them were completely different from before. There is a gap between heaven and tens of thousands of years. Senior Shuanghan is not like someone who is easy to fool. Jinli thought about it and shook his head. What's the use of her thinking about it? To her, both are big shots. It doesn't seem to help her worrying too much. Forget it, why not think of something fun and relaxing? For example, look at how fans praise themselves fancy. Speaking of this, since Jinli posted on Weibo that day, fans seem to be celebrating the new year every day these days. Until today, the rumor forwarding of that Weibo is still being refreshed, and many fans even go to the bottom to check in every day to ask what time can wait until the next one. See you later. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhezhi. Chapter 973. To be honest, Jinli disappeared suddenly for 3 years, or 3 years when he was the most popular, which scared everyone. There was no news, she left as soon as she said, and she really left. For 3 whole years, no one knew about her. No one can bear it. Appeared suddenly 2 days ago, and while showing off a wave of love, came back with a sentence. All the fans went crazy, and they went crazy for several days, and there was no news from Jinli for a few days. Many fans looked at Jinli's only Weibo in 3 years, and were even afraid that it was fake. They had to read it several times a day to make sure it was still there to feel at ease. Also really scared. Looking at the comments below and the sincere confessions, Jinli felt a little bit reluctant and moved. Jinli is Jinli Akridine V, I'm back, but I haven't disappeared, because I have been away for too long and have a lot of things to do, so I didn't go online. Once you're done with what you're doing, everything will be back on track. The comeback will come back, everyone can rest assured to wait for my news later. Comparing. She not only posted a Weibo, but after reading some rumors, she picked out some points that everyone was more concerned about and replied. Jinli is Jinli Akridine V, the sudden departure was a private matter at home, it was a good thing, no trouble, thank you for your concern. Jinli is Jinli V, Lugenja and I have a very good relationship, yes, we have been together for the past 3 years. Seeing that someone below was concerned about whether he and Lugenja were married, Jinli was stunned for a moment, remembering that he and Lugenja had an important matter. Tell the world and form a Taoist couple. The date is set, and the invitations are halfway through. In the end, he was thrown into the world by Tiandao's father halfway. Alas, it's miserable. Fortunately, the time of the gods is calculated in hundreds of years, and the date of her and Lugenja is quite far away. Moreover, the time in the human world and the heavenly world are not synchronized. She had only stayed in the heavens for dozens of days before, and it has been 3 years since she came back to the world. Calculated in this way, it seems that there will be no delay in going back when the time comes. Thinking of this, Jinli felt relieved and returned to the netizens' questions. However, the question of whether she and Lugenja were married left a shadow in her heart. While Jinli was happily posting replies to netizens on Weibo, the technical buddies at Bibo's headquarters finally finished a painful overtime. Brother A, the system upgrade is complete. This time, there should be no more problems. Little brother B is full of confidence, it is absolutely impossible for there to be any more problems. The collapse a few days ago was due to Jinli's return, and the sudden burst of traffic was really terrifying. This time, we made adjustments and upgrades based on the peak data last time. Even if it happens again like last time, I can survive. Little brother C's eyes were blank, it's over, right? I'm going to eat, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to take a vacation. Several people chatted for a while, and began to imagine the beautiful life in the next few days. Then, they heard screams erupting from the next department. A few guys who are busy with work and don't have time to surf the internet. What happened? The girl next door covered her phone in surprise, and poked her head out, Jinli. Technical buddy. In an instant, the threat detection radar was quickly set up, what's wrong with Jinli? Has she made trouble again? The girl held the phone, the lottery is drawn. Draw 50 lucky charms. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 974. The girl's words were like a flash of lightning, piercing the calm expression of the little buddy. Lottery. People who work in places like them are simply not very familiar with all kinds of traffic and data. Especially the technical department, which can be seen clearly through direct background monitoring. It was precisely because of this that they understood how terrible the lottery from Jinli was. Jinli's good luck talisman had been stamped by the entire network, and the effect did not need to be boasted at all. The smile on the face of technical brother A collapsed. I have an ominous premonition. Technical brother B, hold on, our system has just been upgraded. The technical brother C silently turned on the computer, went to a certain backstage silently, and silently began to observe the traffic data. Then he almost died instantly. Weibo collapsed again. No one came out, no top traffic announced their relationship, and no one officially announced their marriage. Just one horrible woman, who initiated a horrific sweepstakes. Forward comments to participate in the lucky draw, 10 lucky charms. This terrifying woman is Jin Lee. In 3 days, Weibo crashed twice. Jin Lee, who did not expect this development. I have nothing to do with the rain, it must be that your server is not working well. Other stars. Comparing people to people, it makes people mad. They thought about how to get exposed and how to get on the hot search every day, but they couldn't compare to Jin Lee, who hadn't appeared in the crowd side for 3 years. No, to say that it is not as good as touching porcelain is at all. There is no comparison at all. A few hours later, Weibo returned to normal. It was no surprise that everyone saw hashtag high on the top of the list of hot searches. It's no surprise at all. Other stars and their fans, while cursing secretly in their hearts, began to forward it very honestly. Lucky charm. Who doesn't want it? Except for some new fans who had no idea what happened, who could forget the magic of Jin Lee's good luck charm. There is no more heartwarming gift than this one. And other uninformed netizens ask for advice. Why does Weibo collapse even after drawing a prize? Did all the technicians go on vacation today? Same question. The number 1 in the hot search is too fake, right? The number of comments and reposts below, you can see the navy at a glance. Blindly guessing that Jin Lee is going to announce his official comeback next week. With this wave of trolling, you're going to treat everyone else as blind, right? Yes, what kind of lucky charm? It sounds very good when you hear it, okay. The ones upstairs are XXJ who just bought a mobile phone and learned how to surf the internet. What are the first few sand sculptures? Do you compare me, Jin Lee, with other past artists? I'm laughing so hard. Who's a past artist hasn't shown up for 3 years? The first post of his appearance paralyzed Weibo, and 3 days later the lottery draw paralyzed Weibo again. Do you have any misunderstandings about the word past /? The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 975. When Lu Zhenjia got home at night, he even teased Jin Lee about it. When you posted on Weibo, I was talking about something, and it took less than half an hour. After the talk, I planned to log in to Weibo, but found that I couldn't log in. He was helpless. Jin Lee said with a smile, this proves that I am very attractive. Lu Zhenjia hugged her tightly, and took a deep breath through his hair. Yes, it's so charming that it sucks my whole soul away. Jin Lee. She patted Lu Zhenjia's arm. What's wrong with you? There's something wrong with your tone of voice. Lu Zhenjia held her tightly and said sullenly, when I came back, I checked your Weibo. Jin Lee, huh? Lu Zhenjia, I saw many netizens asking about our relationship on your previous Weibo. Jin Lee, this. Lu Zhenjia, if it wasn't for this accident, we would soon be Taoist couples. It turned out to be because of this depression. Jin Lee breathed a sigh of relief, but also felt a little sweet. My lover and I, thinking of the joy of going together, others will not understand. She tried her best to get out of Lu Zhenjia's embrace, and looked at him with bright eyes. Lu Zhenjia, I was thinking about this before. Lu Zhenjia looked at her. What are you thinking? What did you think of? Jin Lee smiled and said, we've been together for so long, and our status in the god realm hasn't been settled yet, but our status in the human world is okay, right? Lu Zhenjia was taken aback, and looked up at her. Jin Lee asked him solemnly, then, Mr. Lu Zhenjia, the richest man in Huaguo, Are you willing to spend $9 and a little time to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau with me and give me a title? Lucenja stared at her blankly. After a while, he let out a sudden breath, stood up and took Jinli's hand. I will. Let's go now, he said, and was about to leave. Jinli held his hand helplessly. Look at the time, everyone is off work. Lucenja paused for a moment, gritted his teeth a little irritably, and sat down a little aggressively. He was still unhappy, but he brought Jinli over and hugged him in his arms, feeling a little happier. Why do you leave work so early? Jinli. She held back her laughter, thinking that this man was really cute when he was stupid. What's the hurry? She reached out and poked Lucenja's arm. I'm right here, and I can't run away. Of course it's different, Lucenja emphasized. Although I have announced countless times that you are mine, there is no such book in the world, and the name is not right, you know. Jinli. Lucenja, I can't wait for tomorrow. We will be the first couple to receive the certificate. Then, I will post the photos on Weibo, and I will let all platforms post our marriage certificate photos. When he talked about this, he looked rather complacent. In this way, everyone will see that you have been nailed to death by me. You are Mrs. Lu and my wife, Lucenja. He snorted softly, and said in a disdainful tone, then all those who call you wife, husband, dear on the internet, go away. Jinli. She lowered her head, shaking with laughter. After laughing for a while, he said dissatisfiedly, what do you mean I was crucified to death by you? Lucenja said quickly, wrong, you nailed me to death. A long time ago. The fifth watch failed, and I died. It must be updated tomorrow morning. If there is no at least 6 updates tomorrow, if I can't be a new person, I will become a bald branch. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 976. Very early the next day, Lucenja knocked on the door. Jinli. She opened her eyes with great effort, and all she saw was a neatly dressed Lucenja. No, not just getting dressed. If you look closely, you can also see that this man has carefully tidied up, and even his hair has been carefully styled. You can go to the level of fashion show in minutes. Jinli. Lucenja smiled, hurry up and get up, we have something to do today. Jinli, who hadn't fully awakened yet, said, what's the matter? Lucenja. He looked a little angry, took a step forward, approached the bed, looked at Jinli hesitantly, and finally, raising his hand, he cast a sober spell on Jinli. Jinli. She woke up with a jerk. Then, the dull brain started to work. It can be regarded as remembering what he forgot. She tilted her head to look at Lucenja's appearance, and wanted to laugh a little. It's just to get a certificate, it's not a wedding. What are you doing in such a high-profile way? Speaking of being high-profile is already giving him face. It is clear that it is very coquettish. It's so good to see that it almost shines. Lucenja pulled her out of bed with one hand, urged her not to dawdle, and replied casually, the two of us will definitely be photographed when we go to get the certificate. He will be photographed with Jinli. Of course, you must show your best appearance, and blind those people, especially the guy who dares to call his wife if he is too self-confident. Jinli didn't get his little thoughts, so she got up obediently, cleaned up, dressed herself up beautifully, and the two drove off. It was actually quite early for the two of them to leave. But when I got to the gate of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I realized that there were already quite a few people before going to work. Jinli glanced at Lucenja, the first pair. Lucenja had a straight face, a little unhappy. I should have woken you up earlier. Such a sentence can reflect Jinli's position in his heart. Yes, I should have woken you up earlier. Instead you should wake up earlier. For this kind of thing that most people would think was the other party's problem, he naturally and consciously took the responsibility on himself. Many people are watching them. The two dressed up quite high profile this time, not to mention that Jinli and Lu Zhenjia's faces were quite recognizable, even if they were just ordinary people who didn't show their faces in front of the public. They had such heaven-defying looks, and cuddled closely standing at the gate of the Civil Affairs Bureau will also attract onlookers. Quite a few people had already recognized the two of them. Their faces were flushed with excitement, and they were talking about something while taking out their mobile phones. Lu Zhenjia let them take pictures without changing his face. Shoot. Just shoot. Shoot more. At the end of the filming, remember to post on Moments and Weibo, and make sure to spread the word among the people you know. More than allowing others to take pictures of him, Lu Zhenjia even took Jinli's hand and gave her a hug. Jinli. She was a little strange. What are you doing? Lu Zhenjia lowered his head and whispered in her ear, a lot of people are taking pictures of us. Jinli, are you shy? Lu Zhenjia. He was angry and funny, and nodded Jinli's brain. What are you thinking? I just want them to pat more. Jinli. She was very willing to cooperate with her boyfriend's small thoughts, and in front of everyone, she raised her hand generously, hooked his neck, and kissed him on the cheek. Wow! There was screaming all around. Ha 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 ha, please tell me to step on some madman. I don't care if I keep my hair. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 977. By the time Jinli and Lu Zhenjia walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau with their notebooks in hand, a set of pictures had already spread wildly on the internet. In the photo, a pair of exquisitely dressed and fashionable couples standing in the crowd seemed to be shining, cuddling each other intimately. There are photos of two people looking at each other and smiling, there are photos of two people holding hands, and there are photos of the woman holding the man's neck and kissing him on the cheek. Two public figures, showing this appearance in front of everyone, is probably going to set off a big wave of enthusiasm. And if these two public figures, one named Jinli and the other Lu Zhenjia, would be the most searched warning if they broke out. But what if, to be more explosive, the place where the two of them stood close was the Civil Affairs Bureau? By the way, witnesses broke the news. Did the two walk into the Civil Affairs Bureau together? Hashtag Lu Zhenjia appeared in the Civil Affairs Bureau, suspected of getting married. Hashtag. From the moment this title appeared, the popularity has risen wildly, and it is no surprise that it easily ranked first in the hot search. At this moment, the three Weibo workers who were working overtime in the technical office were looking at the background very nervously. Now they have turned pale, knowing that she has done such a thing again. While they are nervous and speechless in their hearts, they even have a feeling it really is, it is worthy of her. This person, as early as a few years ago, was known as the hot search queen and headline killer. It is said that he was on the hot search every 3 days, and he was bound to reach the top of the hot search. It cannot be compared with the operation of conventional artists at all. Hey, if I didn't have to work overtime often, I would really be a fan of Jinli, technical boy said with emotion. With a yearning expression on his face, he propped his chin. That face is exactly the appearance of the lover of my dreams. Technical boy B looked disgusted. Come on, your dream lover? Isn't Jinli's face the dream face of men all over the world? Little brother A gave him a contemptuous look, and muttered, whoever is like you, goes home every day to play games, so you can spend the rest of your life with your games. Little brother B doesn't want to talk to him. The technical boy C ignored the bickering of the two colleagues, and stared at the backstage worriedly. According to the rising trend of popularity, I always feel a little dangerous. As soon as he said this, brother A and brother B walked over nervously and checked the background data together. After taking a few glances, technical brother a breath to sigh of relief, it should be fine, the ascent speed is very stable. With our server, there shouldn't be any major problems. Little brother C frowned, feeling that things couldn't be so simple. He rubbed his chin, thinking in a low voice, the premise is that there are no other major events happening today. If there is another celebrity breaking the news, I'm afraid we won't be able to handle it. Little brother is very big-hearted and full of confidence. Where is there any big news recently? I haven't heard any rumors. Don't worry, just rest assured. Let's go to the hot spring together in 2 days. Brother C, I hope so. He touched his head with a sad face. He was only 25 years old, and his hairline began to move back. I really don't want to work overtime. The three little brothers stared at the Weibo data, thinking that there should be no major problems, and finally breathed a sigh of relief in their hearts, and even made an appointment to have a big meal after get off work later. However, reality always exceeds expectations. When a few people were about to get off work, there was another scream from the next department. Still the girl from before. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 978. The Three Brothers. Almost at the same time, they had a very bad premonition in their hearts. The three of them looked at each other in blank dismay, and finally, the calmest little brother C said hello to the other side. "You are so happy, what's the matter?" he asked. The girl was holding her mobile phone, with an expression on her face as if it was Chinese New Year today. Her face was red, her eyebrows were smiling, and even her eyes were slightly red from being too excited. "Jinli. It's Jinli. Go check out her Weibo. 3 people. It's over. I'm afraid there is no hope for the big meal tonight." The three of them clicked on the homepage at the same time and saw Jinli's name at a glance. Click again. Jinli is Jin Carp V, are we married? Picture. A red book with a mosaic. A picture of interlocking fingers. The three brothers. After a suffocating minute of silence, they watched as the background crashed again and the server couldn't log in. The three of them watched the scene numbly. Brother A, oh, we can't have a big meal tonight. Brother B, from now on, Jinli is not the girl of my dreams. Little brother C silently took out his phone and sent out a long series of WeChat messages. Brother A, what are you doing? Little brother C said calmly, it's okay, send a message to my buddy, and help me get an account at night. By the way, buy yourself an insurance. Asterisk. At this moment, the 2 people who caused the earthquake are on their way home. The mobile phones of the 2 of them have never been rested since half an hour ago. But Lu Zhenjia was a cold boss and was driving, so he ignored all the people who called to ask about the situation. Jinli, who was sitting in the co-pilot, was very busy. They asked her one by one, why there was no news at all before, it was so sudden. Jinli. She replied, I didn't send a message before, because we only wanted to get the certificate last night. The person on the other side of the phone. Decided last night, went this morning. You are not here for a meal. It's marriage. Mary. Can't you be more careful? Jinli was puzzled, what should we be careful about? Lu Zhenjia and I have such a good relationship. Anyway, in this life, no matter how long the time is, I belong to him and he belongs to me. We will not be separated. If you get the certificate, you will get the certificate. What date do you choose? She is really a real fish, and what she says is what she really feels. The person on the opposite side was so bluntly shown a mouthful of dog food, and silently hung up the phone. The corner of Lu Zhenjia's mouth twitched while driving, and he accidentally stepped on the gas pedal, causing him to drift directly on the road. The owner of the car next door was obviously taken aback. 3 seconds later, the window of the car next door was lowered, and a man yelled, "There's something wrong. I'm racing and drifting on the road. If you want to die, don't hurt others." Halfway through the scolding, I saw the model clearly, and then continued to scold, "Yo, an 8-figure car, it's amazing, huh? I don't know if an 8-figure car will kill someone if it hits it." Lucenja frowned, feeling a little unhappy, but it was indeed his fault. He glanced at the man, and decided not to argue with ordinary people for the sake of Jinli and himself getting the certificate today. Step on the accelerator, and the beautiful silver gray body speeds away in an instant, leaving the chattering people behind. See you there. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 979. The two returned home. Sitting on the sofa, looking at each other, I suddenly felt a little overwhelmed. Not knowing what to say, what to do. Jinli also felt a little strange. She originally thought that getting a certificate was just a formality, but when she got the small notebook, she saw the photo of herself and Lucenja head to head together, and saw their names placed together. Suddenly gave birth to a sense of satisfaction. Still a little happy. At this moment, my heart is full and I feel like I have a lot to say, but I don't know what to say at all. Lucenja sat beside her. He was also looking at Jinli, and the feeling in his heart was a bit like hers, but more and stronger. He looked at Jinli with tenderness and restraint, at her familiar eyebrows, at her agile eyes. The gaze was so intense that it was difficult for Jinli to ignore it. Also, this gaze is not uncomfortable, on the contrary, it is like a pool of warm water, bathing in it, one feels tender and tender. Jinli raised his eyes, blinked in confusion, and looked at Lucenja. It's okay if she doesn't move, but when she moves, those eyes, with the slightly raised end of the eyes, gently sweep towards her, and the natural slender eyelashes with thick eyebrows tremble slightly, and then sweep upward again. A light feather fell on the tip of Lucenja's heart. His heart was a little itchy. His eyes also darkened at that moment. He stretched out his hand and gently covered Jinli's eyes. The frequency of the small fan in the palm of her hand became even faster. Jinli was a little strange, but before she could speak, Lucenja had already softly hushed in her ear. Jinli he didn't let go of his hand, nor did he make any more intimate movements. Just like that, he blindfolded the eyes that made him blush and his heart beat uncontrollably, and quietly stated something that he wanted to say to her a long time ago. From a long time ago, from the first time I felt what his heart beat, I wanted to marry you. At that time, he was only a teenager who had not fully grown up, and he did not understand the heavy burden of a lifetime. He just simply and passionately likes that beautiful and agile little fairy. I like to see her bow her head to pick flowers. I like to see her crooked smile. I like to see the smile and liking in her eyes when she calls her name. At the most impulsive moment, he wanted to take her to a place where no one would know, hide her, and be with her every day without anyone else. Later, when he grew up, he understood more things. Everyone says that I was born with a divine beast and my blood is powerful. I don't need to do anything. When I grow up, I will be at the top of my strength. It's not true, Jinli. Jinli sat quietly, listening to Lucenja say something to him that he had never said to him before. She wasn't the type to sit still, and she didn't like to sit and chat like this without doing anything. But when the partner was Lucenja, it didn't seem so difficult. Her heart was extremely peaceful at the moment, and there was a special and sweet feeling surrounding her and him, isolating them from the outside world, leaving only each other around. So, what's it like? Jinli asked. The hand in front of her moved away. Jinli raised her eyes to meet Lucenja's. The eyes had turned silver gray at this moment, and they were staring at him with a smile. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 980. The truth is, when I realized that I love you to the bone and want to be with you forever, I realized that I can't be an ordinary pixie, Lu Genja said. It is true that he is born with a strong bloodline, even if he does nothing, eats and sleeps every day. At the age of adulthood, he can easily become one of the top gods in the Chaos God realm. If he had nothing to worry about, the days would pass naturally like this. But he had concerns in his heart, so he couldn't do this. He wanted to guard her, to protect her, and to be with her all the time. So he needs great strength. So he traveled abroad, he worshipped famous teachers, he worked hard to learn the countless exercises in the blood lineage, and tried to make himself a little bit better, a little bit more powerful. Others said that his strength stems from his blood inheritance and his superior talent. Only Lu Genja knew. My strength is because of you. Jinli's breath stopped. This sentence is so charming. A man tells you that his hard work and strength are all for you. Lu Genja took her hand. Jinli, I'm very glad that I was able to wait until today. He never told her how he spent the tens of thousands of years without Jinli. He never told her how dangerous it was when he was looking for Jinli's soul fragments in the turbulent space. I never complained to her once, forcibly splitting my soul, going to those worlds, and reincarnating again and again, just to wait for her soul fragments to be reincarnated as human beings. How painful it is. But Jinli knew all of this. She opened her mouth, and suddenly said, Lu Genja, I regretted it once. Lu Genja, what? Jinli took a deep breath, grabbed his hand firmly, and said softly, back then, when I sacrificed my soul in exchange for the stability of the Chaos God realm for 1,000 years, I regretted it. Lu Genja's eyes gradually widened, and he fixed on her. Jinli looked up, met his eyes, and slowly smiled. For a moment, just for a moment, I regretted it very much. At that time, I really wanted to turn around, run back, and tell you, I can't bear you, I'm sorry, I love you. Asterisk. Finally, the normal Weibo was restored, allowing netizens to find a place to vent their excitement again. Mary, 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 is it true that no news came out before I wiped it? Jinli, really don't follow routines. Awesome, among the actresses in the entertainment industry, there is no more successful than Jinli, right? Not to mention marrying into a top wealthy family. Age and appearance are not incompatible at all, it's like a fairy tale. No, I saw their marriage certificates, and I already drove the car for them in my heart, and decided whether to have a boy or a girl. By the way, with the looks of these two, what would their child look like? Today's update is complete. It seems that there is one chapter less than the flag I set up. From today onwards, I will be bald. Does bald branch come with a monthly pass? The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 981. Most of the retweets of comments on Weibo were congratulations on their finally being together. Of course, no matter how harmonious the situation is, there will always be black fans. Something like, sure enough, from the beginning of the fight to the announcement of the marriage, the next step is to take the event to create momentum, right? 3 years of disappearance were spent trying to hook up with the financial backer, right? The man didn't even post on Weibo, how he doesn't care about it. And so on. It's just that these sunspots remarks were submerged in the vast blessings, and soon there was no trace of them. But one thing is true. Lu Genja did forget to post on Weibo. It's just that it's not because he didn't care about it at all, but because he was happy and stupid, and was distracted by other things. When he remembered this, he finally clicked on the Weibo that he hadn't opened for 3 years, reposted Jinli's Weibo, and added his own comment. Lu Genja v. After chasing after 3 years, my wife finally let go, we are married. As soon as these words came out, the sunspots could no longer dance. How are you black? The owner stamped himself and said that he was chasing Jinli, and those who black Jinli belonged to the wealthy family simply didn't know what strange angle to black out. He could only feel aggrieved in his heart that Jinli was so lucky. Isn't it a good life? All the good things in this world were taken up by her. Good looks, good popularity, good acting skills. It's nothing more than smooth sailing in her career, and even her emotional perfection is like a fairy tale. There is a young, handsome, rich, prince-like man who loves her deeply. The two finally got married and lived happily together. No matter who you compare with, you feel that this woman's life is too perfect. Jinli and Lu Zhenjie began planning their wedding. To be precise, Lu Zhenjie was planning the wedding, and Jinli was eating melons. No, he followed him. She still cared about the wedding, but she was lazy by nature and didn't like to take care of things. Of course, this matter was left to Lu Zhenjie for the whole process. Pixiu, who is rich and powerful, finally won't be jealous of passers-by this time. Not only is he not jealous, he also wants to show off. What a low-key wedding, only inviting close relatives and friends, the media can't reveal any material, impossible. He just wanted to be high profile, and even took the initiative to invite various media to follow the filming in all directions without dead ends. It was to let the whole world see his wedding with Jinli. Lu Zhenjie was in charge of all the affairs of the wedding, and Jinli took the initiative to take care of one thing, to invite friends. She sat cross-legged on the sofa, leaning against the sofa cushions, and called people she knew well one by one. Naturally no one will refuse. Even Su Hexiang, who was filming far away abroad, promised to ask for leave the day before the wedding and come back. Jinli thought about it and said, "It's okay if you don't come if you're busy. Lu Zhenjie and I will go see you." Su Hexiang knew her true identity. Su Hexiang, who was opposite, shook her head, "That's no good, this is your once-in-a-lifetime wedding, and the meaning is too important. I don't have to be on the set 24 hours a day to ask for leave. I must come to your wedding. I will bless you on the spot." Jinli smiled, "Okay, you will be my natal family." She called Wen Jiming again, and the other party readily agreed and said he would definitely come. Yu Manluo and his wife don't say anything, they will definitely bring their children with them.